Hello. Today what I'm going to do is talk about listing images to delete using JavaScript, a confirm dialog, and the file system iterator. Okay. Um, what I want to do in doing this is help you guys understand um, how to do it. Okay. So here's the basic file right here. Okay. Uh, that I wrote. The code for. Using what we call the file system iterator. And there are different things you can do, different ways of accessing files and writing files in PHP code. This is concerning PHP code. Now this is extremely important, and this is the reason I'm putting it up on YouTube, because if you have a server and you have delete buttons on your page like this, and you don't put something there to help you, then when a indexing service or a bot, a search engine starts searching your pages, guess what happens when it hits this link right here, or this link, or this link, or this link? And so let's say it goes and finds this, this is the URL of my domain right here, companynet.com, my website and everything. All right, now if it finds that and it starts searching or indexing the pages, and I don't have a robot's text file to restrict them in that, then they'll go to it. Now, Google's good at about obeying robot text files. Okay, so they won't search that directory. But there are others that are rather malicious, and they'll start searching it anyway, and they'll ignore the robot's text file. So I had to do some things because I lost several gigabytes of information, about 8 years worth of work altogether, uh, almost 3,000 pages in my database because of something like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the code, how to do it, and it's very simple. Now there are other things you can do. Okay, you can create when you get referral. You can block certain pages by being directly accessed through referral. Okay. Um, if they go to that page you want and you have a referral, okay, and you find out it's not directly from your site, you can write a referral to send it back somewhere else, which I've done. Okay. I also wrote a program where I have a database and I enter in certain IPs. Okay, and based on the referral from the IP, if it comes to my website and I've already blocked it, it'll be blocked that way. Okay. Now this is a simpler method, but it's also still needed in spite of that. Okay, and then also with login. Okay, the pages for in special directories require a login. Okay, so those are different things you can do to prevent devastation to your server and your web pages and years of work like it happened to me. So this is why I'm doing this. Okay, now if you see here, I got a bunch of the same images right here. Okay, now I'm going to start off with here tulips. Okay, and I kept the code simple. Now I could write, the code to where I click the image like I'm trying to click on it right now, where you see my mouse at. Okay, and I could write code to enlarge the image on another window. But I don't really care about doing that at this moment for this tutorial. Okay. Anyway, but we're going to hit delete. Okay. Now we're going to assume that the search engine is doing the same thing, although I'm going to do it with my cursor. So when I hit delete, okay, it says, "Are you sure?" Okay, with a pop-up message. Now if I hit OK, it's going to delete it. Now the code has to be written correctly, because if you don't write the code correctly, it'll still delete it. I know. Okay, I've been working on that. Different methods of doing it. I have several written somewhere in all my files, but it just takes time to do that, and I want to work on PayPal here in the near future. But if I hit cancel, if you look there, it'll still remain. See, it's not going to delete it. But if I hit delete and I hit OK, see, that's what that will help prevent the search engine from deleting the file. That's one of the things. Okay, but if I hit OK, if you look down here, it's going to disappear. Okay, see there, number 3 is no longer there. Okay, And I can do it with copy to, all right, the tulip, watch, and it's going to disappear. See there? You notice a definite disappearing right there in the code? Okay. So that's it. Okay, now what does the code look like? Well, I want to show you that. I want to show you something else I was working on just for fun. Okay. Now this is a directory indexer I'm working on and writing. Okay, for my server. All right. And I have various options and stuff like that. But what I want to show you is that if I want to sort ascending, now if you'll notice as you watch these pages here, watch what happens. Sort ascending. See, it's changed the sort. Now I can see all my files in my server that way. Okay. Or if I want to sort descending, I can do it that way. All right. Or if I want no sort, okay, and it goes to no sort. Now I wrote right here in my code glob no sort, okay, because I'm using glob with no sort to do this. Okay, this is how it appears within my search engine. Okay, I mean within my directory on my server. Okay, but now I'm going to do something different. I want to know which was last. Now this is the most important, especially when you're doing a lot of operations and working. Okay, so if I date last modified, as you can see, list all files which are images to delete. And it gets the title of the file, and then right here, it uses a confirm dialog. Okay. Now, um, I could do this, show form, make empty files. Okay, that's where I can create an empty file by name. You know, and so when I get done with this, it'll be loaded with tons of information. And it'll probably be several thousand lines of code to do it. And I could do it with classes, but we'll keep it simple so other people can tear it apart and look at it when I put it up for sale. Okay, so I just want to show you that for fun. Okay, now yeah, I have like session info, member, router. Okay, session info. If I want to get session info, it gives me the session info there, but I'm not going to let you view all that information. All right, so anyway, that was the fun part. Now we're going to get back to serious coding. Okay, now this is the code for listing images to delete. Okay, and we're only concerned about images. Now I'm not going into depth about it. Okay, I'm putting it up here where you can see the code. All right, and copy it if you want to copy the code directly. Eventually, I'll put the script up for sale as I, once I get PayPal ready and going. Okay, but I'll probably start on PayPal hopefully tomorrow, but don't know if I'll manage to do that. Okay. Anyway, now when you're getting information, okay, if you remember right here, all right, this right here, okay, there are different ways of handling form data. Okay, you have post, you have get, and you also have server request. Okay, where you can actually get request, and get things in array and stuff like that. But anyway, what we want to use, because we're dealing with links rather than post, we want to use what's called the get method. Okay, so because when I click this link, it's using the get method to delete the file. Okay, so this is what this is about right here. All right, so isIt right here means is set. That means the variable is set. Okay. All right, and then here file name to delete. Okay. Now, so right here I got it commented, and the reason I commented it right here for this is because when I was rewriting this program, I was going like, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Well, the reason it wasn't working, I forgot I wasn't supposed to be using the post method to get information from a URL. I was using the post method rather than the get. So this is to remind me in future time. Okay. Another thing I want to mention is when putting things in the database. Okay, if you have a database you want to put stuff in, okay, databases can be rather tricky. Okay, now here I got double quotes. You see right here? Originally I had single quotes. Now when it comes to variables using get, post, and etc., or server self, always use double quotes. Okay. All right. The functionality of the file, okay, would still work with single quotes, and that's what most people do. But here's the problem: if you use, single quotes and you try to put it in the database, a lot of times you're going to have an error. In my case, I have an error, headers already sent. So in order to prevent that, I'm saying this in this video for myself probably more than anyone. Okay, but what you want to make sure is when you have the square brackets like this, anything you put in the square brackets, put it with a double quote. Okay, because you see it doesn't affect anywhere in the PHP code, and I showed you, and it still works. Okay, now this here is very important. File name delete. Okay, all right, we need to verify it's true. Okay, so down here, if I want to explain it, file name delete equal true. Now this helps in many ways, okay, because you're not just given file name, like delete with file name. It goes through some extra stuff for security reasons, so it adds a little more security, and it means that you really want to delete the file, okay. And then the file name that you want to delete, okay, the name of the file is right here, okay. Now, so anyway, so that's why I say need to verify is set to true. Okay, so the file to delete, all right, we get this file name from get, okay, through the variable here, file to delete, okay. And then, unlink is true, okay. Now, in the server, okay, I have it, after today, I'll have this commented out as extra precaution, but have it for future use, because now the comment out you want to use like these are called comment lines. And the reason you want to do this is if the file's on permanent use, you want for extra security to comment out those lines to prevent accidental deletion, even though I have the button. Okay, and I did all of the things because you never know what can happen until you're full-fledged. All right. So anyway, so this is the ISIC conditions right here. Okay. And the actual function, which is a built-in user function right here that I'm highlighting in PHP, is a function that actually deletes the file, and the function's name is unlink. Okay. So the file is deleted. Also show no files deleted. Okay. Now here, because I am using the JavaScript button, this is not necessary right here, but I left it anyway for if I happen to get tired or whatever, I have the code there. Okay. Now this is when you click the link to delete the file. It's like when you click the link to delete the file, it sends the data to the server as a request. Okay, using the get method. Okay, and then so what happens is this script right here, as I put it, okay, it's coming back to the same page that is sent on to delete the file. Okay, you can do it two ways, two separate pages or one page. So it's coming back to the same page. Okay, and I'll explain that in a minute. All right, so it's coming back to the same page, all right, from which the client made the request, which is when he clicks the link. Okay, and so this here, is getting the request using the get method. Okay, now the actual code for listing the files is right here. All right. Now I want to explain this file. All right, this is a variable right here, and I want to explain this very clearly. Okay. Now, when you have a form which both appears on the client side as HTML, and on the server side, it also collects the data. It's in one single form. Okay. Or I could have it sent to another form. Because I have it sent to the same form, I'm using what we call the PHP server self global variable type thing. Okay, and the reason this is important and we use HTML entities is to prevent SQL injection. Now the neat thing about doing it this way, okay, so in other words, this line here, that you see highlighted, I'm sorry, is the actual file name of the current script. Okay, in other words, I don't have to hard code the file name because it's part of a variable within PHP. And so I could have a million files with this one line, and have this file, and it'll work. Now, normally I don't do it this way, okay, with this here, if I'm doing a submit request through the actual form, okay, but because I'm doing the get method, I have to use this right here as the variable, okay, and the variable's defined right here. All right, and so when I define it and I'm preparing to use the information, okay, using the server self method, okay, of the, which is a global in PHP, I want to use the HTML entities built-in function from PHP, which strips certain characters and etc. like that. Um, that SQL injection can be prevented. Okay, you don't only want to use it on the forms, but you also want to use that on your get variables. Okay, so anyway, and this here, okay, image iterator. Okay, I'm creating a new file system iterator right here. This little code here tells me, okay, that I want to start off in the current directory and not another directory. Okay. Okay, and then because I'm not going just for every file, I want to have a new regex iterator. Okay, all right, and by creating the regex iterator, okay, and write the code correctly, which you can see the code, I put like for the file extension bitmap, JPG, TIFF, PNG, GIF, and JPEG. Okay, so those are the files I'll allow on my server. There are a couple others, but I didn't put it in there. And so anyway, all right, and what we need to understand is that this filters out the files I want to use. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to create an array right here, and I'm defining an array right here. Okay, all right. So this is how you define an array right here: image file list. Okay, all right. So I have an image file list right here. All right, and then what I'm doing is, you see right here, the filter, and you got filter here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is um, filter out these images, okay, through the filter, which is an array right here. Apparently, yeah. So anyway, now I'm going to go through my filter. All right. All right. So anyway, when I go through my filter, okay, it's a for each statement right here. Okay. So you can look at the code right here. So here's the array, the complete array, image file list, okay, which is this array right here. All right, that I've created. It's a little complicated, okay, but if you study it, you'll understand it. You can look on the internet, and if you want to search out the internet to learn how to do all that you can do with the file system iterator, I would type in exactly PHP and then file system iterator, okay, like that, okay. Now, here's the code for the link right here, all right. Now, what you're seeing here is highlighted on the actual file, okay, that the code is written is on one line, okay. So when you type it out, make sure you type it out in one line, otherwise you'll have an error, okay. Now, what I want to point out is this right here, on click confirm. This is the JavaScript code that is the most important, okay, to prevent an automatic deletion. Because see, if I deleted that, then what would happen is there would be no protection. Okay, all right, and so there'll be absolutely no protection. Okay, so this here is an image tag, da da da. But I'm not going to go and explain it, but just so you can see the code, here it is. Okay, so this here is the most important line right here. All right. Um, that I'm using to display the image as well as create a link to delete it. Okay. Actually, what I've created here is an image link. All right. Um, so anyway, I believe that's what I did here. All right. So we'll go back here. List images. No, I didn't create an image link. Um, I have to look at the code a little better. But here's the code to do it. Okay. So I'm gonna scroll up slowly. This is my database, by the way, from my website. All right. You can cut all this out if you want right here, but you'll need everything below this line right here. You have to copy everything and type it out, and eventually I'll make it public. But anyway, the most important line, as you see, you can stop the video from different times. So I'm gonna just be quiet and scroll it down, okay, so you can see the code. All right, there it is. That's the complete code necessary right there. One day I'll go back to my YouTube videos and put links on the videos I uploaded to download the file, with a price, of course, because I feel it's very important for people who are newbies and want to save time. Okay, and once I get PayPal, I'll have membership set up for a paid membership, to where you can download files as well. Not all files will be free for download, uh, but there'll be a lot of them that are free for download, and as well as membership, for other things. Well, I guess this concludes what I'm doing, and I hope I left it up there long enough, and you can pause it if you want, before I say goodbye. Have a good day. Be blessed. Goodbye.